Episode 160, however you want to say it. That's where we're at. Welcome into the Bench is Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants.
And I'm Dave, representing the side of the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. And we need the offseason to just be forever so I can lord this over you till the end of time. So
I feel like it's old news. Like, we're already talking offseason. Who really cares who actually won the World Series?
There was a World Series? What are you talking about?
As you know, I'm sorry, y'all, that the World Series got canceled this year. We don't know who would have won, but that would be great.
We move on.
That would probably be my dream. Neither team's won. So,
but if you look in this little corner here, all season long, you'll see that little.
You were so bad at pointing at it. Like, you could see it. I don't know what you're not even guessing.
It's down here somewhere.
Like, if you're trying to put the scoreboard, you're like, oh, it's right here. Oh, over in the whatever. Yeah, it's there. It's fine. We're gonna get through this because we're just gonna have to take that and put it on this side over here at some point.
But as much as I like lording it over you, that doesn't make for a good freaking episode. So let's talk about the juicy. Actually, no, not juicy storylines. Actually, our many errors. Like, we think we're Nostradamus, and we're so bad at predicting the future, man.
You thought you were him.
I did.
It turns out you are not Hemi Neutron. You're just a guy.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think maybe we should end with just our one good prediction. Let's go over our team predictions, which I don't think I got one right. My number 5 was Luis Matos is going to become an everyday player by the end of the year. Looks like I just need to change that name to Heliot Ramos. And then I would have been a freaking smart guy, TJ Henderson, but that did not happen. Marco Luciano, the guy that we were promised is going to be the everyday shortstop. We left the spot open so Marco Luciano can get some at-bats. Turned out that was a lie. And I was saying that he was going to have over 100 OPS plus, like basically just saying he's going to be above average. He's going to get his feet wet, but he's going to stay there. And he did neither of those things. Giants bullpen ERA would be top 3 in the league. Apparently, if you took out Luke Jackson's stats, they shoot up really high. I don't know if it's top 5, but you do have to include Luke Jackson's stats because he was unfortunately on the team and was that bad. So that was false. Jordan Hicks stays in the rotation all season. He did not, but he was dominant as all hell the first third of the season. So gotta love that. And then lastly, someone was gonna break the 30 home run curse, and Matt Chapman kind of got close, 26. I'm not sure if we can count that as close, but I'm gonna count it as close. But that gives me 0 correct predictions. Dave,
that is awesome. Let me one up all your predictions with mine, because mine's are just, I'm looking at them and I'm like, we're so optimistic. It's crazy.
You gotta be.
My last one wasn't so bad. I thought the Dodgers, they're going to be hitting home runs. Otani, they're going to lead the league in home runs. It didn't happen. So, first one wrong.
Then I said that was a lie.
My endless faith in Bobby Miller that he'll be a great pitcher for us. I thought he was going to be in the Cy Young finalist, category, and it pains me to say I wasn't even remotely close with that one.
He wasn't even in the Dodgers rotation starting.
Exactly. He didn't even get a finalist. So that one didn't work out. Then this one I thought, this is a possibility. He just signed his 10-year contract. He's been really consistent. He'll be fine. At least in the first half, he always starts really hot. So I'm like, Will Smith, he'll finally start a All-Star game. Wrong. I'm never predicting him starting an All-Star game again. It's a popularity contest. And I'm never going to predict that again.
Yeah.
And then this one I was really close, but he broke down near the end. Glass now pitching a whole season. I thought his arm was good. I thought his problems were behind him, and just so close, but didn't work out. And the last one was Shohei will lead the league in home runs, but Judge said no go. He had 4 more. He almost got 60, and Shohei ended up with 54. So 0 for 5 in my team predictions, man. 0 for 5.
One thing I did want to look up, I did want to see how much Tyler Glasnow actually did pitch, if it was more games than he usually does. And he did. He broke.
Yeah, it was his career high.
His career high in starts. He won over his career high in starts. Maybe next year he'll do 23 instead of 22, and he'll break that career high. And it's all you can ask for.
It's all you can ask for, man.
Apparently, if you're signing Tyler Glasnow. But we also did 5 around the league. So I'm gonna start really dumb, and then maybe I'll get smarter towards the end, because maybe we can just end on us being smart. Number 5. The Dodgers don't make it past the NLCS and cry about the format.
See, I would have been with you for the first half. I'm like, you have me in the first half. But then you went on to the crying part. I'm like, okay, this isn't.
They do. They cried about it last year. Okay, let's not try to act like that didn't happen. No. So I thought we were just gonna get another dose of it, but apparently they're good. He's good. This one's really bad. Mike Trout plays over 120 games. Future Giant.
That's just the MLB fan in you hoping and praying that we get a good full season out of Mike Trout.
Right, and brothers are GMs. Maybe Mike Trout's just really over Anaheim, and he becomes a San Francisco Giant because the Giants need a star. Who knows? But that didn't happen. Number 3. Brewers do not make the playoffs. That was not even close to happening at one point this season. Yeah, they were good. This one was I felt like this was a genius call halfway in the season. But my number 4 was the Astros will not win the AL West because their starting pitching isn't that good. They took a step back, that sort of thing. First half of the season looked great, but those fuckers came back.
We talked about it where these guys are like the roaches that won't die. You can't bet against them until they're, and it happened.
It happened. And then the number 1 kind of makes me look like a genius. It's the one that I predict I think 3 or 4 years in a row, because I just have a soft spot for the Tigers apparently. But the Tigers will make the playoffs. They did it. They even won a playoff series, but then they got spanked by somebody. I forgot who they ended up playing. They play the Guardians. They got spanked by the Guardians.
Yeah,
spanked by the Guardians. So
that kind of, not to take anything away from the Tigers, I think they would, but it tells you how weak the competition was, right? Because the Tigers looked like they were really playing well, and then the Guardians just steamrolled them, and then you're like, okay, this is going to be a good ALCS, and then the Yankees steamrolled them. So, yeah.
And then the Dodgers steamrolled the Yankees.
Yeah, there you go. So, if the AL they had was wide open last year, I think, if you look back on it.
I think that, and there was a lot of stuff that came out after the fact, which is kind of makes it a little easy. But I think everyone was kind of on the same page. There was probably 3 National League teams that were better than the Yankees. I think the Yankees were definitely the best team in the AL, but I think you would put. Obviously, you put the Dodgers there, you put the Padres there, and you'd probably put the Phillies there. I feel like they just didn't. They had the Dodgeritis where they just didn't show up in the playoffs. That they had that's what I don't want to hold it against them if they're a bad team, but I would have picked those 3 teams over the Yankees.
What's funny? It used to be the Atlanta-itis, and then the Dodgers caught the Atlanta-itis, and now it's the Phillies caught the Dodgeritis. So yeah, that's pretty funny. Was that all, or you had one more prediction?
That's 5. That's the Tigers, Brewers, Mike Trout, Astros, and Dodgers. That's 5 right there. So that was it.
Well, mine are horrible, and I'm going to start with the worst one, just so we can get it out of the way. And this was me just like, hey man, I don't know what I was thinking. I figured Cole was injured, and I have no idea what I was thinking at the time, dude. And I said the Yankees would miss the postseason. Like, what the hell was I on? Terrible. The World Series. Terrible call. I also said, and I thought this would happen. I thought this was easy. 2 NL West teams would make the wild card. I thought that was like a slam dunk.
Well, to be fair, you were only like half the game off.
Yeah, I mean, for a while it was, but I didn't think it was going to even be that close. I thought the NL West had like a bunch of good teams. I thought,
Yeah, you would also probably put the Braves in winning the division, no problem. So
yeah. So that one sucked. Talking about the NL East, I thought Pete Alonso would be traded, and I think had not Grimace come along, that season would have sunk, and I think maybe he would have been traded. But
Definitely
damn
Grimace,
you,
dude.
Grimace, you saved their season. So,
oh my God.
And then the fourth one, I'm like, okay, this guy already stole 73 bags. He's just going to keep going. I thought Acuna was going to pass his stolen bases total. Did not work out. So maybe he'll do it next year or whenever he comes back. But yeah, that one was a 0 for me too. And the last one, I think I got this one right, that the A's will have a better record than the Rockies. And I think I got that right. I need to check that.
We guys got to look at the A's because we know, because we'll come back to that while we look it up, because when the next thing we also did was over and unders, right?
Yes.
I think we both agreed. I'm just having trouble remembering what we said if the Rockies are going to be over under. I think we said over because it was hard to lose that many games, and it was obviously that hard because the Rockies won 61 games. So I believe we were right, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, they only won 61 games. I'm trying to find the A's. How much did they win?
That's just a click away.
69. 69 and 93. Actually, they had a better record than the Angels. So that's double hilarious.
Yeah, you have to be the White Sox to lose more than 60 games. So yeah, kudos to us for not making them that bad.
One thing right. Yeah, thank you.
I think we both got the Diamondbacks going over slightly, right? But we didn't think that the Diamondbacks were going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Diamondbacks and Padres we got correct.
Yeah.
I think you did the over on the Dodgers. I did the under. I'm a smart guy, obviously. And then I think that Giants, I did the over, you did the under, and the Giants were under.
I just use logic,
So yeah, well, this next coming up year, come back for even more terrible predictions.
Like we've been talking about it, you grow when you lose, so we're only going to get better.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna check the game film. Exactly. I'm not sure what happened there, but you got to look at yourself in the mirror and you got to push through. We are gonna do that.
This is where you see what you're made of. You can lay down and quit. Or you can stand back up and keep moving forward. We're gonna do the latter.
How many more cliches can we get in this podcast? You just gotta push through. You gotta just want it more and more.
What happened there? Hey man, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. We'll just move on.
I believe in my guys, which are the guys in my head, and we're just gonna get better. We're gonna get back on this. We're not gonna make any excuses. We're just gonna push through it. We're gonna give it 110%.
Okay, we're gonna go back and look at film. And we're going to see what we did wrong, and we'll make adjustments.
So that's where we sucked. Let's not do that. But we'll see. But there's a lot of, a lot of stuff not a crazy amount of stuff to get into. I think the only free agent signings that are really of note is Travis d'Arnaud, which I actually was kind of really big on him. I think the Giants really need a good backup because Patrick Bailey has shown that he has not been able to stay consistent offensively through an entire year. He's still building up, and I think you need to give him a little bit more time, to just get there to handle the position physically for an entire year and still be the same guy. So someone like Travis d'Arnaud, who's almost like a super second catcher, that's who I think you should go. You should let go of Tom Murphy when you have to eat all of his salary, whatever. Or you can, draft someone second overall who's a catcher, realize that he's at least decent to be your backup and just not trade him. You could have done that.
Listen, man, a lot of us and a lot of Angels fans doubted Artie Moreno and doubted where the direction was going because they didn't make an offer for Ohtani. So you're like, what are they doing, man?
Did they not?
And lo and behold, this guy had a plan. all along, because he just brought 50-mile-an-hour flamethrower Kyle Hendricks and Travis Darno. I mean, a warning to the West, man.
Yeah.
Watch
Plan
out.
the parade, Anaheim.
Plan it. Because it's
Anaheim of Los Angeles.
It's gonna get wild, dude. I think they're winning the off season so far, no doubt.
Well, technically, I think they are because no one signed anything. So technically, unless you can count a subtraction
I feel like they've given themselves negative points. I don't
know. Jorge Soler, Travis Darno. Those are solid, pieces if like a team is all right, but.
You have a guy who's making $40 million a year, who the GM said he has to prove that he wants to be out on the field. That's crazy. So, I mean, good luck to them, but they got a lot going on over there.
Trade him to your brother's team, dude. Come on. We'll take him. We need something. So put him in left field, let him DH. It'll be a great time. But yeah, I think that's. And then also especially in Giants land, it is reported by the GOAT Jeff Passan that Mike Yastrzemski and Lamont Wade Jr. are apparently on the trade block. Not sure exactly what that means. It's not like you're going to get a whole lot for him. I don't know if they're just trying to create spots, trying to save a little bit on money. So I think Yastrzemski is supposed to make $10 million this year as last year in arbitration. Not sure what Lamont Wade would be making, but he might be able to get you at least a little something back. But the way he ended that this last year, I'm not sure how much he's going to bring back. But who knows? If you can get a decent reliever back from him, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, I think the Dodgers might be in that same boat a little bit. I don't know what their plans might be, but it seems that way when they said that Mookie would be moving back into the infield, and obviously he's not going to play shortstop. So, which leads us to believe that he'll be playing second base. So maybe Lux is available. So,
Lux is gone.
So we'll see. I mean, no reason to say that or even announce it unless you're, making it known that maybe that guy's available or somebody's available.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
I hear you. But I mean, that's all I think that you can even talk about so far. It's happening in this offseason, which there are some major stories, but that's going to get into the main reason why we're here today. We're going to go over our top 5 free agents. Should we? I guess we'll just go back and forth. We're not going to pick the same guys. We don't want to talk the same dudes all the time. So I don't know. You can go however you want to go on the tippy top. You want to start at the bottom. Dave said, sure. King winner, whatever. I think it's only fair that you go first. So let's talk some free agents.
Let me get
who's coming to the Dodgers.
Okay, let's do it. I think mine are a little more tame than yours are going to be.
Okay.
Not so. I mean, after getting Ohtani, how do you even top that, right? So I'm going to start from the bottom. And I think my number 5, I'd like for them to bring back Blake Trinan. I think he was nailed in the postseason. I think he exceeded what he was supposed to throw in a lot of innings, going 2 innings plus sometimes. So, what kind of guy, what kind of warrior you got there. So bring him back. He's a staple in that bullpen. So I think he'd like to stay, and I think they should make it happen.
I guess it really just depends the kind of dude he is. Like, is he a West Coast guy? Do you think he might like winning that ring, being in California? I'm not sure how he lines up politically. I mean, I don't think anyone knows. He's so private about it. But he might be the type of guy that's like, I feel like those type of guys are like, hey, I'm going to go to Arizona or Texas for the taxes and, and to not be in a major city. That could affect it. I don't know if he just really loves playing in LA. I don't know.
My team. I like go both sides of it. Go to both sides of it because I'm like, so he might be the last time he can cash in because he had a good postseason. So maybe somebody will pay him a lot of money. But maybe also he's like, hey, I want to keep pitching, but I want to be comfortable too, and I want to be where I. So it just depends what they really value. I don't know. He just won a ring, so it's not like he's that hungry for another one, So maybe he does want to get the money. So who knows? I don't know, but I hope he likes it here and he's comfortable here and he comes back. and that's where he wants to end his career.
Definitely possible. I feel like I'm going to be all over the place, right? Because I didn't want to go just the top 5 best. I wanted to do stuff towards our needs, but I also feel like there's a couple of guys on here that there's probably a 0.05% chance we're going to sign, but they're the best players. How do you not put these guys on a list? So this is probably going to be my guy that's almost impossible. It's not going to happen just because of they don't want to clog up the first base position for a very long time. And that is my guy. For Pete's sake, bear market, all that, Scott Boras. Pete Alonso. I mean, I don't know how else you bolster a team with not a lot of home runs and a home run hitting first baseman. So I'm going to break your 30 home run curse. I don't know. I feel like you can just bring him in, figure out Bryce Soldiers. Like, I don't understand why he can't just figure out how to play left field. Whole nother story. I just don't think it's going to happen, but he would definitely be, if you want one of the best offensive players in this league on your team, one is right there, but you want to just clog it up for Bryce Soldiers. I get it, but I don't know. Weird. So,
hey,
but I would love him.
You know where I think he's going to go? And this is just like a shot in the dark, just in case the Yankees miss out on Soto. Is there any chance he just goes across town and puts the pinstripes on,
100%.
Right? Like that seems like a great backup plan for them.
Yes, 100%. I just feel like with Pete Alonso, you know what you're going to get. You're going to also get a character to where he's going to be in like the home run derby. You're going to have
goofy, a little funny. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to give you quotes. He's going to probably pick a fight with someone on the Dodgers. So you're going to have like more media there and maybe like reignite that whole thing. I just feel like this is the perfect guy to get. I feel like he's one of the 2 guys that I have on here that's 0.05% chance they're going to do, but they should be their top target, honestly.
I could honestly see that way more than I could see Soto. I think they could convince him more easily than they convince Soto.
Right. I think so too. I feel like his power, right-handed power plays in Oracle. Left-handed power does not play unless you're Barry effing Bonds. So, yeah, dude, that's who they should go all out for. Tell Bryce Eldridge, hey, dude, you need to play some left field. Or, hey, the DH position is there because Pete Alonso's not that great of a first baseman. Get 40 home runs in your lineup every year, Yep.
All right, well, let me give you another one that's on my list, and these are not in any particular order. But I'm gonna go with another ex-Dodger recently, Walker Buehler. I know a lot of the year we were like, man, this guy can't be starting games for us anymore. This guy, a lot of fans lost belief in him, I'm sure, and he's just an excellent postseason pitcher. You can't teach that. It's just like something clicks when he goes into the postseason.
Right.
And they don't grow on trees, so you need to get them whenever you can. Don't let them go, Guys like Nathan Eovaldi, who are not great in the regular season, but when postseason comes around, they're like aces, So there's not a lot of those, and he loves LA. Why not make a deal? Try to make it fair and keep him here.
You did say they don't grow on trees; they're not everywhere. But then you mentioned another guy who that is it, and he is a free agent. So didn't help your argument, but I do know what you're saying. I do agree with you, but I'm just saying the way you framed it didn't really help your argument a whole lot. Yeah,
he's a Dodger legend. Like, come on, I can't see him in anything but Dodger blue.
I feel like a lot of teams are telling themselves that, like, hey, this is a buy low candidate. Like, you could get him for super cheap. But it's like, if he's going to try to prove it 1 year and make it super cheap, he's going to go back to the Dodgers. I don't know in what world he would be like, you know what? I want to do a make it up year in freaking New York and to go to the Mets or something. And it's like, he's going to go back to the Dodgers. Like, I feel like there's almost no way he doesn't go back unless the Dodgers don't want him. That's the only way I can see it.
Yeah, I hate to see him go to a team that pays him more, and then he has a shitty year and doesn't go to the playoffs, because he can have a bad year with LA and be lost within all the other players, and come postseason, he'll shine. Like, we know what he is. So, I'd rather you just come home. Just come back.
Yeah. I like I said, I feel like there's almost 0% chance. But that is the story. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around, but I also feel like Walker Buehler does not want a long-term deal right now. I think what he wants is a 1-year deal. He wants to prove that he is that guy. This is this will be the first, say the second year he comes back from Tommy John where he can show who he is, hit free agency again, and then get paid big, versus trying to just see if someone will bet on him for 3 years or 4 years. He might get that with an extra 5-10 million on top of that if he has a good year next year.
Yeah. He's a guy who doesn't forget stuff, man. He heard all the chatter and everything that was said about him, as well as like the Dodgers still believing in him and all that stuff. So I don't know. It seems like a perfect match for him to stay.
Yeah.
If the money's there, but we'll see.
I got you. This one I feel like is very realistic for me. I feel like this is what's probably gonna happen, and this is the Giants need a shortstop. They need to figure out what's going on shortstop. I think they have made the decision. It's kind of around that they're moving Tyler Fitzgerald II, maybe just wanting him in that super utility role. So they need a good shortstop. And if you're looking for a good defensive shortstop, buy low candidate. So many connections. Bob Melvin, Jung-Hoo Lee. You got to go Ha-Sung Kim. I get you. If you have Ha-Sung Kim there, and you have Matt Chapman, obviously you probably have one of the best, I would say the best defensive left side of the infield. Well, I guess however you're looking at it, shortstop and third base. Like I can't think of one that's better defensively. You're giving me a look like you got one. Which one you got?
No, I don't think you put those two together. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But also the problem is the Giants need this thing called offense where they can, get on
I was just gonna ask. I'm like, at some point he's gonna have to address it, but
yeah. Or we just skip it. We just be rainbows and flowers today. No, I mean he had one good year offensively, and even then it was just like above average. It wasn't anything special. So I don't know. It's not something that I would be extremely excited for, but locking it down defensively, that's one position that you can let go of some offense to make up for defense. But when you're a team that doesn't have a lot of offense, you don't want to do that. But whatever. Ha-Sung Kim, I don't know. Maybe just seeing Jung-Hoo Lee's eyes every day will make him be better offensively.
It's a good move if he's like your third biggest move. Like if he comes with other move, then it's a good move. But if he's the big move, then that's a bad off season.
Another 80-win season for sure.
You're gonna have great off defense, but I mean it's gonna be a 0-0 game for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think that's more of one of the realistics that I think could definitely happen. Obviously, I wrestled with either putting Adames or Pete Alonso. I just felt we could not talk Pete Alonso when we're talking free agents, especially the big deal I was making about Pete Alonso all year, how they would need him. But yeah, I mean, Willy Adames, he's great offensively. He's going to cost you a lot of money, but he took a step back defensively. I don't know. Can he make that up with Matt Chapman on the other side? Can it be okay? I think it could. Honestly, I would definitely prefer Willy Adames, but I think they might go the trade route or something because I just don't. Obviously, they talked about cutting payroll, which we'll get into that towards the end. But I think part of it's also they don't want to be over luxury tax. They want to get more draft picks, is what they did last year. This is Posey's, first year taking over the reins as president of baseball operations. They don't want to just keep up giving draft picks. And Willy Adames comes with a draft pick. Ha-Sung Kim does not. That's a factor. But at the same time, put the best product on the field. Who cares about a second and fifth round pick? So whatever.
Yeah. We'll see, man. All right, let's move on to my third pick. I've been talking pure pitching, so I'm going to keep the train rolling with pitching again.
Okay.
This one, I think it fits. He fit in any team. Obviously, he's an ace, but Blake Snell.
Who?
Yeah, Blake Snell. I think he's a notorious slow starter. We know that, but right. I don't think you need him for the regular season if you're the Dodgers. You've already proven that even with talent alone, you'll be able to win out most of the time. So if he's
Right.
good like he has been in the latter part of the years, the last couple of years, then you're golden, and that's when you need him. So, why not? I don't know how much he's gonna make or how much they're gonna offer, but I think they did try last year and they did try trading for him apparently. So the interest is there, man, and we don't have a lefty in the rotation. I think he'd fit perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Giants needed him to be him all through the year. Obviously, the botched spring training, yada yada yada. How much do you want to believe in that? Whatever. But man, when he came back from the second IL stint, there was probably nobody better in baseball. I mean, he had like a 10 plus ERA and brought it all the way down to like 3.12. So, man, I don't know. I don't know how much better you can get. So, people kind of complained they didn't do that last start of the year, but Giant season was over, dude. You got to take care of yourself. I get it.
Yep. All right. So
yeah, I forgot. That means me again. I forgot.
So we agree he'll be a Dodger, right?
I think it's definitely possible.
Okay.
I think it's definitely definite that he is not a Giant next year. I can tell you that. Because it just seems like they're very like, oh, we'll be in contact, and they're kind of leaving at that. So I think it's the writing's on the wall. He's gone. My next pick is also starting pitcher. I think they need to go top of the end rotation. This one I think is realistic. I mean, you can call me crazy all you want. I don't really care. I think this one's pretty realistic. We're going after Bay Area native Corbin Burns. I think when it comes to like what's going on with the payroll, I think that Corbin Burns, will do the annual thing closer to like 33 million. I think it's just gonna be a longer contract. So I think it's in the budget to get the top of the rotation guy to go along with Logan Webb. I mean, that's a huge hole. It could be, Farhan's famous last words, but it could be one of the best rotations of baseball. You got Webb, Corbin Burns, maybe Robbie Ray's that guy. Second year coming from Tommy John. Who knows? So,
but did you see his tweet?
Yeah, but maybe those are eyes because he's from the Bay Area, right? So it's like, hey, I see you. Now I need to defeat you. That's probably what it is, honestly.
Oh, okay. So he, tweet master Corbin Burns and now freaking Logan Webb are gonna get together and just troll the Dodgers on Twitter. That's what they're gonna do.
That'd be great. That's almost like a wet dream to me. So,
hey, we also saw somebody posted a picture of Walker Buehler hanging out with Logan Webb. They were golfing together. Did not like that.
Yeah, maybe that just means that Walker Buehler's just going to come over to the other side and win a World Series for the other team then. So maybe he's just a really big...
That would hurt me so much. You want to hurt me? That would hurt me. That'd be horrible.
Maybe he's just that big of a fan of this podcast. So he's like, well, I got to go for the other side now. I got to get that trophy over here. Over here. Right next to Jesse now that I put one over by Dave. That makes sense.
A man of the people. Even if that was the case, I still couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
All right then. So who was it? That we
Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns. We're talking about Corbin Burns.
Yeah. Okay. So we have two more. And I'm gonna do the obvious one that I think it's a no-brainer. They should bring him back. Teoscar Hernandez, man. What he means to that clubhouse, what he means to the fans, the energy that he just brought to this team, you can probably get his production from somebody else and you'd be fine team-wise. But like the energy and everything else that he brings, I don't think you can find that just anywhere. And I mean, if it's not broken, why fix it? Just bring him back and keep going, man. So he wants to be a Dodger and, make it happen. Like, not a lot of guys come out and say it like 20 times, like, I want to stay here. I want to stay here. Come on.
How old is he?
32, 33 or something like that? Or is he old? I'm not sure. Okay. I know he's a little bit older, but
I think he would take like a 2-year deal.
I think a 3-year deal seals it. A 4-year deal for sure gets it done, but I think a 3-year deal gets it done.
Yeah, because it's not like the bad thing with
Yeah, he's
the only
32.
okay. The only negative thing with, when you're talking about Dodger wise is your DH position is locked up for the next 10 years or 9 years. So it's not like you could be like, oh, and then when he loses a step, just throw him over at DH. That's long gone. Ohtani is that position is sealed. Mookie still has another 10 to 8 years, somewhere around there. So if anyone else is going to get a DH position at the end of his um, contract, it'd be Mookie. So that's one negative. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, you take that negative for Ohtani. I'm just saying that is a reality.
As bad as a job as, not that they do, but the fact that their pitchers get hurt a lot, and you're like, why can't they keep these guys healthy? They do pretty well with position players most of the time. I mean, they get them off their feet, they switch, they do a lot of platooning, they get a lot of guys that can cover. So, I mean, I'm not worried about that part. I know he's going to age, but if you can get a couple more rings out of him while he's still,
just a couple more rings, that's it.
A couple more rings, then it makes it all worth it, man. Shohei loves him, so Show GM is going to make it work, and we move on. I hope he's back. I don't want to jinx it, but I really hope he comes back.
Right. Yeah, I get it. My next guy is, I think this is actually a little more realistic. Another reason why is I see this guy on so many other teams, who are predicting. This guy's never going back to the Diamondbacks. I do not know why. I don't know if they just feel like they need to move on for him. They want to save some money. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not informed on Diamondbacks Twitter or Diamondbacks podcasting where they're thinking they're going to get this guy back. I don't know, but I think Christian Walker is an obvious slam dunk at the first base position, especially because they don't want to clog up first base for a long time. He's only going to take probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I think, because he's an older dude. So he could be up at first until Bryce Elders is that guy, and then he can kind of mentor him. They can play. They can both switch off on the DH position. Those two guys are there, and then in a couple years when Christian Walker is gone, Bryce, you're everyday first base. You don't have to worry about DHing. We're gonna keep you. We don't want to mess up your legs, whatever. You're just there, and then you figure it out from there. Or let's just be smart and get a lot of good hitters and put Bryce Elders in left field. Let's teach him a little left field. Who cares? You got 2 other good guys. Heliot Ramos, really good in right field. You got Jung Hoo Lee, really good in center field. Make up for him. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But, I think one other good thing about Christian Walker, obviously, the number one team that you're always trying to chase because they've won the NL West so many times is the Dodgers, and he destroys the Dodgers. So any game that you win against the Dodgers or the Padres is technically almost like 2 wins, because those are like the teams you're going to be chasing. So it's a different loss for them. So I think you can look into that as well.
I've never seen a more obvious Giant because I already don't like him. And he just has the look of a Giant already. I don't know how to explain it, but once he puts the uniform, you're like, yeah, like it makes sense, right? And he kills the Dodgers. So move him the hell away from the NL West.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere but the NL West, and I'll be fine with him because he just destroys us. And if we only see him twice a year, that's perfect. Right. I don't want to see him more than that.
Well, I think that's a big thing. Like I said, you gotta also, you don't want to get someone who only does good against the Dodgers, whatever. But I feel like it just kind of lines up, and the stars are kind of aligning to the point where it's like, I think that's the guy you got to go after, especially when you don't want to clog up the first position for a long time, but you also don't want to rely on a guy who's had, I don't know, less than 20 at bats in AAA. You can't just assume he's going to go in there this year. It's very possible, and it's very likely he's going to end up with the Giants this year, but you can't bank on it, and you can't put that much pressure on the kid. I think you got to get a stopgap, and this is a solid stopgap that you can even put him at DH some days when Bryce Elders is here. So give Bryce Elders some DH days too to get him off his feet. But yeah,
it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I could see that.
Thank you. That makes sense.
I think that's even more gettable than the polar bear. And you know, it's funny to goof on the polar bear, but I don't want to see him in a Giants uniform because I don't want to hate him. Because I think he's goofy and all this, but I still think it's cool. He hits bombs and he's funny. So please don't wear the Giants uniform.
He's definitely better, but it's just I definitely think Christian Walker's more realistic, and I think it's possible.
And okay, so my last one, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit because everybody's in play here, but Roki Sasaki. And I think it's unfair for a number of reasons. Everybody thinks because of the Dodgers and all this, but it's also at the price you get him.
Right.
Which then enables you to be like, oh shit, I can still get Blake Snell. I can still sign Teoscar. And it's like, dude, that's crazy because you just got Roki and all these other dudes because you got a deal almost like you did with Ohtani last year. You're making another deal like that with Roki. So any team that gets them can get multiple superstars after that if they have the budget.
It's not even close to the same deal.
I'm just saying everybody can pay for an extra player. He doesn't change your plans when you pick him up. That's
like making league minimum.
A superstar. It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. He wouldn't have that much pressure in LA because he's probably lined up behind Ohtani and Yamamoto, and even Glasnow maybe to ease him into MLB. But maybe he doesn't want that. You never know what he wants. Maybe he wants to make his own path and be the main guy, which I still don't think it's going to happen because he's not going to come over here and pitch every fifth day. They're going to baby the hell out of this kid because he's such a prized talent that I don't think he's just, let it rip kind of thing. So I don't know how much he impacts the first year he's here because I feel like they will monitor his innings.
I think you're right, but I also think that's a mistake.
Of monitoring his innings?
Yeah, I feel like doing that, like I feel like these pitchers aren't lasting longer. Like I don't know if it's just the extra velocity or what the deal is, but this idea of babying these stars is making them to where they don't have Tommy John and they don't have, the idea that they only have a certain amount of bullets in the gun versus, hey, the more you work, the more you're used to it, and the more you can go, longer or, deeper in the season unhurt. I don't know if there's evidence showing that babying them is actually the best way to preserve them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you got to make a decision at some point and be like, hey, just let it rip. Tommy John seems to be inevitable regardless of what kind of strategy you use. Like you baby them and then you let them go and they still get hurt, and you let them go and then somehow they still get hurt. So like, you're right. I don't think they should put restrictions, just let them go, but not to the point that they're going to injure themselves either,
Yeah, no, for sure. I get what you're saying, but I think it's almost like a shoe-in that everyone's putting him on the Dodgers, and for good reason. But I think it's also been reported I remember hearing it on a podcast. I don't know how true this is, but it was something that Jeff Passan was saying, don't, hold your horses. It's not a done deal yet. There's a lot of reasons why he wouldn't, so I think it's possible. I think it's more possible, after hearing that it's more possible that he goes to another team than the Dodgers. But I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't care about competition. He's going to go to the Dodgers and whatever. Or if he's an actual, competitor and someone with some cojones, he'll go to a different team. That's what I feel like.
I love when they say that. Like he's not out there facing 9 men by himself when he's pitching. Like he's facing inferior teams. Like if he goes to the NL West, he's facing probably one of the best teams in the Padres. And he's facing them multiple times. The Giants, if they get their act together, they're going to be a good team. And the Diamondbacks are great. And plus, you face the league like at least once now every time. So this whole idea that he's taking the easy road, I don't think so. I mean, the Dodgers had the most freaking injuries last year. That they would have needed him to be, their guy. So I don't know. I don't buy that. That's the easy road. No guarantee that you're going to win a chip just because you joined the Dodgers.
No, but there is less pressure on you, and there's less, how do you say, you're not like expected to be the ace. You're not expected to having to dominate from the gate because there's not a lot put on you. Because like, hey, you get blown up, no big deal. We got 5 other dudes behind you that are they're gonna kill it. We're gonna score 1,000,000 runs, whatever.
The amount of hate that he would have to deal with if he goes to the Dodgers is
come on.
It wouldn't compare. Look at Yamamoto. Everybody loved him. Everybody wanted him. The Yankees were in love with him. They were they were scouting him every single game. And as soon as he went to the Dodgers, he's going to get hurt. He sucks. He's not going to make it. He's all this other crap. That's the same thing that's going to happen with Sasaki if he goes to the Dodgers. Everybody loves him right now, and as soon as he goes there, he's going to see hate that he's never seen before. Well,
hold on. Just because yes. But also, you would do the same thing. Dodgers fans, let's not.
No, I am not gonna. If he goes to another team, I still want to see him pitch. I am not gonna. If he goes to the Giants, I'm sure I'm gonna make fun of him and troll him. But I'm not gonna say that. Oh, he's gonna have he's not gonna last here. He's not gonna have a good career here. Like
maybe you personally, but you're gonna tell me there's not a vast number of Dodger fans who are gonna say stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if it happens. I don't know.
You're gonna play the I don't know game? Okay.
I can speak for everybody else. I can speak for myself.
Okay.
And I wouldn't do that. I would still love to watch him pitch to whatever team he goes to. I think he's an amazing talent. So I think that's one of those guys that regardless where he's playing, you want to watch him every 5th day. Kind of like Ohtani. You want to watch his at-bats.
I would hate to watch him in a Dodger uniform because either A, he sucks and I'm happy, or B, it's like you're a baseball fan, so you like to see like good pitching and all that kind of stuff, but he's doing it for a team you hate, so that I hate it. So there's a no-win situation for me if he decides to be a Dodger. So that's where I'm at.
And I don't know how confident I am, but it's like they're like, well, if he posts this after January or whatever it is, he gets everybody's money replenishes and they can offer him more money. And that's why he won't go to the Dodgers, because they have less money than this team. And I'm like, dude, he's leaving so much money on the table coming this year that a couple $1 million, when he can make that up in ad revenue, is not going to be the deciding factor. And so like, I'm not worried about that part. It's just where he wants to go. That's really all it is.
Exactly. I think if he decides, I'm not sure how much money the Dodgers are.
They have 5.
I know they have the most right now, right? They have the most this year, but then everyone has the same next year.
Yeah, they have close to 3, and then most of the bad teams will have like around 7. Then you have like the middle, the better teams, and they have around 6, and then you have the Dodgers below that, which are close to the Giants. We have them around the same amount of money.
You know what's crazy is I know that teams have gotten punished for going over, so you can go over if I'm not mistaken. Because I know the Giants got in trouble. They spent a lot of money on, I think, Sandro Fabian a long time ago, and they were like punished the next year because they went over. So like in theory, if you're like saying this is my guy, can't you just be like, all right, I'm going to give him $10 million, and I'm not going to sign anybody from the international draft this year, and then I'll get punished next year where I only have a certain amount, and then I'll be back to normal in 2 years. But you got a guy who is basically guaranteed to be close to, if not an ace, who is ready right now, not a 16-year-old kid that you're rolling the dice on, that you're given, sometimes $1 to $2 million, depending how good he is or whatever. I don't know.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how you do it. I think you can go back on your commitments if they're verbal, but I don't think you can spend more than you have.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but teams have gone over. I'm not crazy. Did I make that up? That whole scenario?
I haven't seen it. I don't remember it then, but I think a lot of teams are going to go back on their commitments to players, which is going to suck for those guys. But if Sasaki's the guy that you're going to get, you're like, yeah, I might hurt this relation a little bit, but I'm getting Sasaki. So I think that happens.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll shoot some DMs to our good buddy, friend of the pod, Roger Muncher, who knows everything about minor leagues, farm systems, and I would imagine he knows everything about the international draft too. So maybe I'll shoot him a DM, next episode we'll have the answer what you can do as far as money wise, and we'll inform you on something.
Where do you see him going? In your gut,
Saki?
where do you think he ends up? Yeah.
I think he's a Dodger. I think it's either a Dodger or maybe, because I know Yu Darvish is like his mentor, so I think it's definitely possible that he's a Padre. But I think it's a long shot that he is anywhere else than either of those two teams. I would like, if I was Vegas and I'm putting it on, I'd say, he is like, I'm 70% certain he's going to the Dodgers. Then I'd give maybe another 25, maybe 20% to the Padres and 10 to any other team. I would love Roki Sasaki. How great would that be? Him being like, you know what? I'm going to face you guys all the time. And he comes to the Giants. Oh, great. Maybe he's a crazy Buster Posey fan. You never know. Who knows? Nobody knows. But
I don't know. I mean, I'd still watch him. It'd suck watching him in San Francisco, but I hate when things seem like such a lock that you're like, you really start doubting it. So
yeah,
it's like,
no, for sure.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's like everybody and their grandma is like, yeah, he's coming to the Dodgers. I'm like, hold your horses, because now it seems like it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You just start getting doubt every time something seems like they say it's a lock, but I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
I do hope they get him. Obviously, who wouldn't want him? But
yeah. I mean, I think we're going to talk a lot. Obviously, he's not going to sign until after January, because I think he wants to level the playing field to everyone to at least offer him the most they could, and maybe he wants to get courted. I'm sure he does. So we're going to be talking about him a lot this off season. So
I feel like it's I don't know why. Obviously I don't know anything, but I feel like he told his team like, okay, you're letting me go early. I'll wait till the next period, so there's more money and you get a little bit more of that cut, kind of thing. Right. Like if he signs now, they really don't get even less money now. So I don't know. But anyways, before we get out of here, I had this this thought that really scared the hell out of me.
Okay.
And because I have no answer for it, and I was like, wait, what? And I just thought about it, and I'm like, wait, how's this gonna work? And I'm like, Shohei Ohtani's coming back. He's gonna be pitching.
Correct.
But you need rehab games, right? Like he's not just gonna come back and immediately pitch. He's gonna go on a rehab assignment, maybe, or most likely, right?
No, I think he'll just do spring training, and then he'll do like simulated games, and I think he's just kind of a normal spring training.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking that if he didn't do that and he had to go rehab, I'm like, we're gonna lose our hitter too.
That's true. You might have to just IL him or something, or send him. Right? I don't know how that would work. That's like, a good point.
Split him,
right? Unless like he's just off. Like, hey, I gotta take an off day because I gotta go throw in Oklahoma.
One of those late night thoughts that just creep into your head for no reason. Right. Make no sense.
that's you might be worried about your situation and bills at 2 a.m, but if you're thinking about like, Dave, what he thinks about 2 a.m, he's like, wait, what is Shohei Ohtani
in April versus the freaking A's? We're not gonna have Ohtani? Wait.
Yeah, or he could just start off pitching against teams like the A's. It's basically a rehab game.
Yikes! They were better than the Angels and the Rockies.
I know, especially the A's actually were not nearly as bad as everyone thought.
You might not like their owner, but they were good.
Sorry, maybe the Rockies. Maybe the Rockies at Dodger Stadium. That's like a rehab game, or against the White Sox. So, okay. Well, I have one left. I think this is my other 0.05% chance that he is going to sign here, but. How can you have a free agency conversation without Juan Soto? I think he's a one-time generation type hitter, 26, so he's only going to get better. Maybe he gets a little more aggressive, so he hits more home runs. I don't know, but Juan Soto's got to be my number one guy. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen, but it doesn't matter whose outfield is we're talking about here. You make room for Juan Soto. So this is the guy. He's gonna sign a 15-year deal. So is that what you have him at, 15 years?
15 years? I don't think he's getting 15 years. I think 13.
I for sure think he's going to get 15 years.
You think he's getting 15? That's crazy. I think he gets 13, but I don't know.
Aaron Judge is getting paid till he's 40. Xander Bogaerts is getting paid till he's 40. Why not Juan Soto? There's no way he's not getting 15 years.
Because if you shorten the deal, you can make it seem like it's more money a year.
100%. Yes. So I'm not saying like there's no reason to, but I think that's not enough reason. I think he's going to be like, well, no, I want that 15th year. You can buy me out at the end if you don't want me when I'm 39 and 40.
See, that's why I'm pretty thankful the Dodgers have Shohei, because I'm like, this guy's got everybody by the balls, dude. Like, he's the best out there. And if you didn't have a Shohei, you're like, well, we kind of need him. We kind of want, let's give him whatever he wants kind of thing.
I think that's the same mode that for Juan Soto. I think there's going to be three teams that are like, we'll do anything for you. And then, he goes, this is what I want. I think because this is what kind of came out about the Shohei thing. He's the one who structured that deal, and he hit up the teams that were interested. Are you going to accept this deal or not? Not even like negotiations. Like, I'm not playing no games. This is the deal. You accept or not accept. And I think it was 3 or 4 teams that accepted it, was the Dodgers, the Giants, the Angels. I think they said they accepted it, and
no, they rejected it. He didn't. The owner rejected the offer to resign him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But I know the Giants did accept it. The Giants were in on it.
Okay.
But he obviously chose. I'm sure there's probably another team or two that said yeah. Oh, the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm sure they said yes as well.
There you go. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm sure there's probably another team or two that said yes, but I don't know if the Giants were actual or the Blue Jays were an actual legit play. I think it was always the Dodgers, and it was always going to be the Dodgers. That's the thing. But I think Juan Soto is one of those guys who could do that. Obviously, he's not going to say $700 million. I think it's going to be closer to 6. I think it's going to be like 6, 15 years.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Dodger fans say that they don't want him.
A year.
That they wouldn't want Juan Soto, and I don't know how to. First of all, I'm going to say you're crazy if you don't want a Juan Soto in your team.
Right.
Just you're flat out crazy, regardless of the team you have. I understand that we won with Teoscar, and I already said how much he means to the clubhouse and everything. But I mean, it's Juan freaking Soto, dude. Like, how could you not want him, right? But
Dodger fans didn't want him. They were literally chanting future Dodger.
I'm saying now. I'm not saying that's pre-Ohtani. Post-Ohtani, it's a little different story.
Not really.
I don't know.
You want him.
I would take him, but I don't think should be like the main target. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, if he
the Dodgers run out of money eventually, I get it.
Yeah, like if he fell and it was like in their price, whatever they're comfortable with, sure. But I don't see it happening because of that, and I think they spend their money on other players. But
right.
I don't know, man. It's just going to be whoever spends the most money on him, really. I don't think it matters about culture and all this other crap. I think it's, hey, man, here's a blank check. What do you want on it? And, welcome to the team.
Yeah, which might get dragged out for a while. I saw one tweet from, I don't know if it was some random guy, but you never know who's legit and who's not. Oh, it's going to be settled in the next day or two. Probably not. GM meetings are just, I think December 5th. I think we're hopefully going to find out around then, because I think waiting towards the end has not worked out. And if you want a team to build around you and prove they're going to build around you, I think that you got to give them time to do so, obviously. So I'm not sure how much more you can get into how much, at least I'm going to get into how much you want Juan Soto, because I don't think it's realistic. I think that there's a report that came out that the Giants had a meeting with him in Southern California, a day or two ago.
Another one,
another one that came out right after saying that was bull crap. So, I legit think they're not in on it. I think one thing I do want to cap out with in this conversation is I know the Giants said they're going to decrease spending, and the rumor is more that they're going to just want to get under the the tax threshold, which leaves them about $70 million. I think they're gonna. I think you can sign 3 big pieces within those $70 million. I think you can sign a Corbin Burns. I think you can sign a Christian Walker, and I think you can sign probably like a Hassan Kim. I don't think you can go Adamas unless you go Adamas and not Christian Walker. I think you need a top of the rotation type guy. You don't want to be stuck with your pants down between your legs with 2 starters in that rotation like you were last year. I think you obviously need to figure out the shortstop position. Maybe that is trading for Bo Bichette. That'd be great. But we're going to get over trade targets next week. We don't want to get into that right now. So, but that's definitely possible. But you need a starter, hopefully a top of the line starter. You probably also need to sign like a minor league type guy or someone who's on the roster, but like paid low just for some insurance. You need to figure out the shortstop position. And if you want to be better, the obvious, easier way to do that is through the first base position. Because everywhere else is pretty much taken, unless you go after a guy like Juan Soto, then who the hell cares who's in left field? I mean, who's supposed to be in left field? It's going to be Juan Soto, but that's, like I said, not going to happen.
You know what I think it would be really interesting if they did it, because you have teams that have to wait for Juan Soto, or at least for a while. Not in, but the Dodgers don't have to. They have the luxury of not having to wait for him or whatever, right? They could easily just take some guys off the board without competition because the other guys, they're waiting for Soto. I don't know if that would happen because maybe they want to wait to see if the other guys have offers. But if you want to make a good, get Teoscar back right now, see if Snell will take a deal. Although I don't think so, because I know Snell wants to get a huge deal. But I think you get Teoscar right now without those other guys.
But I don't think Juan Soto is affecting anyone else's market except for maybe Teoscar, who thinks that, all right, whoever loses on Soto, maybe they pay me a little extra to leave. But if you want to stay in LA, just figure something out. But it's not like before when it was like there was a bunch of shortstops. We have to wait for the first one to go before the other ones go, to open up who's going to go after you. I know that kind of happened with Judge because the Giants were like, we need a big guy. They didn't end up with anybody, but whatever. But I'm not sure if Soto's really holding anything else up. I mean, I don't know who else is kind of waiting. But
at least the big spenders, right?
I don't know. I just feel like Willy Adamas's like suitors aren't Juan Soto suitors. I feel like,
the Mets made an offer to him and they're Juan Soto suitors.
That's true. That's true. But
I think I don't know if
everybody.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to cause the big spenders to wait a little bit, which like the Yankees and the Mets, and I don't know who else is a big spender besides the Dodgers, but maybe those guys wait, and maybe you just you don't even have competition for Teoscar. Just pick them up now. Basically, just re-sign Teoscar, guys.
Yeah, and this was great. I love hanging out on this first off-season pod. I guess it's technically a new off-season pod, right? I mean, last episode, which we did take a week off, but last episode was technically off-season, but it was also more like the World Series type celebration for you. So this is the first one. New background. We're new guys. We're new men. We're exciting. And you should come and hang out with us every single week. We're going to be here. So subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform, as well as YouTube. Do the likes and all that kind of stuff. Help us grow, make this a thing. And thank you guys so much for listening. Socials. Don't forget about the socials. Instagram, Benches Cleared Podcast. Twitter, Benches Cleared P. And TikTok. TikTok, Benches Cleared. Dave, what do you got for
those down here next time so we don't have to keep...
maybe.
Yeah, maybe not, whatever. But thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week talking about whatever happens this week. We'll see if any rumors start happening, anything comes along, and we'll pass it on to you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, and we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us, and same Cartoon Network next week. See you there.
Boom.